Hello, you're right. I hope you're all okay. We are continuing with digestion. We are going to move on to look at the digestive system. So this is going to be another double lesson, and we're going to look at explaining the processes of digestion. So in the first half of the lesson, we're going to do our Do Now Connect as always. We're going to talk about what is digestion and label the digestive system. There's then a video that we're going to watch and some questions about the process of digestion linked to that video. You're then going to finish with why digestion is important and then complete a consolidation task. In the second half, you are going to be completing your apply task. Now, the apply task for this lesson is going to be to create your detailed account of the journey of food through the digestive system. So it's based very much on what you'll have covered in the first half. So today's Do Not Connect activity is a choice of three. You can either choose to do bronze, silver or gold. Choose whichever one you want to have a go at and complete that. It's not going to be marked, but it's still important that you have a go at making a few notes for this task, okay? So we're either going to answer what are the 7 essential food groups, which you will have covered in the nutrients lesson at the beginning of this unit. Why do we need protein and carbohydrates? Or you're going to create a meal that can be described as a healthy, balanced meal and explain why. Okay. So we are at lesson 5 and 6 of digestion, but it's probably quite important that we actually consider what is digestion. Normally I'd ask you to think, pair, share this, but obviously you are on your own at home. So have a think about it. You might even want to have a research, but what do you think digestion is? Just jot down a couple of notes on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter at the minute, I just want to know what you think it is. So now we know that digestion is the process by which food is broken down and absorbed into the bloodstream to be distributed around the body. It's important that we understand the digestive system because that is what allows digestion to take place. So I want you to have a look at the diagram. I want you to work out what you think the names are of the major organs in the digestive system. Can you label those major structures? Once you can label those, you also need to be able to add more information about the role that each part plays in digestion. There is an access sheet available for you to help break down this task, and there's also a diagram for you. If that's too easy, then I'd like you to consider the direction of food and how it moves through this system, okay, and the process of digestion. So add those notes to your diagram as well. So now that you have had a go at labelling your diagram and adding what the role of each part is, I thought it was a good idea for us to just check through some of the key parts and just check how you did. So I've used the diagram from the support sheet just so we could identify the 5 key parts that I wanted to focus on and look at what's happening there during digestion. I've added just a basic bit of information for each one for you to check against your work. You are more likely to have more information, and that's fine. If there's any bits that you think you need to change, then obviously you can do that now. But this is just for you to check again so you can see how you're doing and feel confident with what you've covered so far. So before we move any further, then we're going to do a little bit of a learning check just to make sure that we are all happy. So I've given you 2 definitions of what digestion is. I'd like you to read them both very carefully and decide which one you think is the correct definition for me. So now we're happy with what digestion is and the structures within the digestive system, we're going to look more closely at the process of digestion itself. So what I'd like you to do is start by watching the video. As always, make sure that you've got the presentation up. Then you should just be able to click on the video recorder picture and it will take you straight to the video in YouTube. Now, it might be worthwhile you just taking note of the questions underneath so you can listen out for the answers as you go through and jot them down. You aren't going to be marked on these answers, but you'll need some of these answers when you do the apply task in the next half of the lesson. So part of the digestion process that we've gone through so far looks at the absorption of molecules. So what we want to think about now is why we need to digest food. And to help us do that, we've got this diagram on the screen, and I'd like you to try and explain what that diagram is below, what's happening. To help you with that explanation, I've given you some keywords in the yellow box, and I'd like you to have a go now in just a short paragraph, explain what is happening in that diagram. This is the final task for the first half of our double lesson on the digestive system. As always, we just want to consolidate what we've learned so far. This time I'd like you to choose from one of the 3 tasks to complete. So you've got either bronze, silver or gold. The first task then for bronze is to list the organs in the digestive system. Try and order them according to the journey that the food is taking. The silver task wants you to describe what organs do, so go through each organ in the digestive system. What is their specific role? What are they specialised for? What's their function? Finally, we've got gold, and that's where you're creating a flow chart to show the journey of food through the digestive system. Okay, so that's where we're going to have a box for one stage, and we're going to have an arrow going to the next stage, and so on as you flow through the digestive system. So we're moving on to the second half of our digestive system lesson now, where we're going to complete our apply activity to demonstrate our understanding and knowledge that we've gathered from the first half of this lesson. So this is the apply task for the digestive system lesson. This is what you're going to submit to your teachers. Now, we are going to be writing a detailed account of the journey of food through the digestive system. In your account, you need to go through the definition of digestion. You need to include the different parts of the digestive system and what happens to food at each part, as well as an explanation of why this happens. Okay, so think back to when we described what was happening in the diagram in the last half of the lesson. There are 2 levels for you to choose from. You can either complete the silver or the gold worksheet. Make sure that you provide all of the answers and make sure that you are doing this in full detailed sentences, please. If you are struggling with how to start this task, there is an access sheet to help you get started. Similarly, if you want a little bit extra challenge, there's a challenge box on this slide for you. So are any parts of the digestive system adapted specifically for their function? If so, include an explanation of how and why they're adapted. So just add to your detailed account just a little sentence or so about how each part of the digestive system is adapted for its function, okay?